Welcome back to the Love Inspired Leadership Podcast. We are so incredibly grateful that you are here. And do I have a treat for you? Ooh, I just got truth bumps all over. So today's going to be really about coming together and gathering together to have an honest, soul-fueled conversation about what it really means to lead with love, to lead with courage and truth through every single chapter of our lives. And my incredible guest today is Debbie Zita. She's from the other side of the world than where I am. That's why I love podcasting, because we can connect in meaningful ways and have these incredible contributions and conversations that really can support people to be impacted by Debbie's story. We had the honor of meeting through an incredible organization called Positive Prime. And we were just in Boston at a conference specifically about positive psychology and neuroscience. We danced together, we laughed together, we brainstormed, we hugged, and we just really connected. The conversation we had before I got on here, I just feel this kindred soul spirit connection with Debbie. So I'm really honored to share her with you, my audience. And Debbie is award-nominated business and energetics mentor. She is an international speaker, best-selling author, podcast host as well, and soon to be TEDx speaker. And she is the founder of Zita Consultants. So Debbie is also the creator of Six Selves Model of self-inquiry, a profound framework that really supports, guides, and helps women leaders align success where profit meets purpose and growth and does not cost them their health, their joy, or their relationships. And for more than a decade, she has supported women across 7 countries to elevate their businesses and embody their most magnetic selves through the blend of science, strategy, and soul. Yum, delicious. And with 25 years of human behavior, degrees in psychology and social work, is also training in NLP, CBT, and heart-based meditation. She brings such a depth and rigor to the work and conscious business, which is what I am all about too. So Debbie, thank you for saying yes and jumping on here. I'm not sure what time it is there, way over there on the other side of the world, but I'm super grateful that that you decided to share your voice here with us on the Love Inspired Leadership Podcast.
Oh, thank you, thank you, thank you. It's my pleasure to be here, and it's actually quite amazing hearing someone read about you in your bio and the things that you've trained in and the things that are coming up. And I'm just also taking in our connection and mirroring all of that back for myself and for your audience as well, with deep gratitude and reverence actually for the journey and being in this moment right now with you.
And I just want to let the audience know is when we connect with people that we have that really heart-centered connection and respect and honor, and that intuitive feeling that there is that reverence. That's the time to be proactive. That's the time to connect, because we have this incredible opportunity to mirror each other with the love, with the grace, with the gratitude and appreciation. So just wanted to mention that before we dive in. So here we go.
Amazing.
So Debbie, before the Six Selves model
Yeah.
and the awards and the soon-to-be TEDx presentation, there was a woman living through some very human chapters. Can you take us into that earlier season of your life
Yeah.
and share with us, the adversity, the loss, the trauma that you had to walk through.
Yeah, it's a privilege to do so because it's a privilege to be here to be able to share the story. Let's start. I can go very, very far back, and I've learnt ways to sort of express this in a 1 minute versus a 30 minute story. I was 3 when I first had a deep connection to source, to God, to universe, and I wasn't really in an environment where that was understood. So I cut all of that off. I moved through my years. I had a loving family. Things were, I guess, relatively normal. I had a bit of a rough 20 something with dating and different things with school, usual things. I think my heart cracked open though when my mother died. And I promised myself I wouldn't cry in this, and you gave me full permission to cry. And I said, I cannot because I'm wearing mascara and I don't want to scare the audience. I don't know if we're on YouTube, but look, I've cried many tears. I've cried oceans of tears about this subject. And losing my mother at 27 when I was pregnant to my now beautiful 17-year-old son who I just dropped off to school. So it's just after 9:30 in the morning here to answer your question from before.
Yes.
I think that was really the crossroads or the catalyst for me to go very deep into my own personal self and find out, why did this happen? Why am I here? Why do these things happen? Soon after that, my grandmother also passed away. I also experienced an abusive relationship that I didn't even know was abusive because it was so predatorial and sinister. It took me years of therapy to unpack. I'm a very loving, very heart-centered, very integrous human that couldn't even comprehend someone's behavior to be that way. But part of my journey, I also lost 3 friends to cancer. So 6 in total. So 6 is a very meaningful number for me. 6 is also very much connected to mother energy, nurturing energy. I've often felt that I would have many children in this incarnation, and I won't, and I just have my beautiful boy Jonah. But what I know about myself is my heart is huge. I love humanity. I love every being, quite literally. And so I've taken all of those losses and those traumas, and there's been far more things as well in terms of finances and health and every other area that I have experienced. And if I haven't personally experienced it, I've certainly guided women through pretty much every single thing. So I have zero judgment. What I chose to do, though, Carolyn, I chose to offer more beauty to myself, offer more compassion to myself, and to allow source energy to literally transmute my losses and my traumas into love and light. And that is why you see light in me, because I choose every single day, God, please refine me and cover me in your grace, cover me with love. Take anything that is not loving within me and please replace it with love. And I'm human, and this will forever continue until I take my last breath.
Well, that was a lot. And you know what? That's why we're a kindred spirit. I wake up and say the same thing every morning. I put my hands out and I say, I surrender. Guide me, lead me, direct me. So I am so grateful that you have made this decision for yourself. And I know there's many miracles and magic that happens because you made that decision. And I have a understanding within myself is that every single thing that I have lived through, the traumas, the wins, the successes, the heartaches, were all for me to
Mhm.
guide me and direct me. And you live that same principle, don't you?
Absolutely. Absolutely. It's a
So,
choice and a decision. I didn't mean
yes.
to cut you
Oh
off.
no,
It's a
no, it,
choice
it
and a
just it
decision.
just is.
Yeah.
And I want the audience to just pause here for a minute and think about Debbie's journey, think about your journey, and just pause for a moment. We all have a decision to make.
Yeah.
And it is one of acceptance and gratitude. And I always say one thought, one decision can transform your life. One single thought. And so when you look back now,
Mm.
what do you see as the real turning point? You said it was with your mother, but what was inside of yourself that really supported this alchemization into this understanding and decision and wisdom and surrender? I mean, that's really what you did.
Yeah, great question. Uh, there were definitely little moments that led up to a big moment or a day, which was in my 40s. Very rough time, very rough, coming through the Melbourne, Australia lockdowns, and we were hit very hard with the COVID lockdowns. A lot of businesses broke down, a lot of marriages broke down, a lot of people broke down. And I was one of them to a point. So I had a moment where I was literally questioning, can I continue? Can I even go on? And it was quite dark. And I prayed and I felt a great presence, a great light, and I made that choice again that day to just be very kind and gentle with myself because there was deep self-loathing around different things that had happened. And I came from a place of very easily loving every being. Like quite literally, I love every being, and I would train and practice on retreats and learn to surrender and open my heart for every being. And what I realized was I was not including myself in that every being. I was so outward and so loving to everybody else, but this beautiful divine instrument of love that is me was totally ignored for various reasons. And so, in that moment, in that day, it wasn't necessarily instant. It took some weeks and months and years later, but I reclaimed myself. And so now, when I say love and light to every being, I often remind women, including myself, including yourself, beautiful one, because for me, Carolyn, my training, whether this was literal or my own interpretation or a bit of both, and psychologically we know through that lens it's probably a bit of both, and a lot of it is the interpretation. I didn't
Yes.
realize it included me, so I
Right.
left myself out of that. But
Yeah.
not anymore. Not anymore. No, no, no. I'm very empowered in my 40s. I know who I am. I know the value I bring. And I also know that some people are not able to swim in the depths of my story and the intensity that I carry. And that is okay too.
Absolutely. This position as a woman to make the decision to include ourselves, to make that decision to honor oneself, to I feel, I mean, I'm older than you. I just had my 67th birthday.
Oh,
And I know. And in the last 5 years, honestly, this is the journey I've been on. What can I do to be gentle and honor and love myself today? So I have rituals I do every day. It's changed my entire experience of life. And I too was like you. I gave myself to everybody else. And then my battery would become very low. And energetically, I would be exhausted. And I know that this decision that people have the opportunity, because that's the message today in this podcast,
Mhm.
is to choose you,
Yes.
choose to love and honor you. So
Mhm.
I love this conversation. Okay, so
So good.
you've turned this journey, this alchemization, this commitment to self, to love into a framework that now supports women around the world. So let's walk into that
Mhm.
together now, because that's really about alignment and intention. Oh, I love both those words. So for those really needing it for the first time, what is the six selves model of self
Yeah.
inquiry, and how did it first reveal itself to you on your own healing path and journey?
I love this so much. So, this is the embodiment, the alchemization, the literal, here's the document pamphlet of my life's work. So, essentially, I was having conversations with my clients around various topics from energy and spirituality and past lives, and then also sex and money and just everything. I'm a very safe place and soft place to land. So, people share everything with me, and I'm a vault. I carry that for them with great privacy and also reverence as well. It's a very humbling role to take on. And I first moved through my own transformation of, being that woman that had experienced trauma and abuse, and then picking herself up and actually not going back to a job that she hated, but starting something of her own and creating my own, coaching programs and coaching practice, learning how to actually say this amount is what this, program is, and here's my bank account, and actually then receiving that, and actually then carrying that, and then actually realizing, oh my goodness, I have to pay taxes on that. And then,
Yes.
moving through all of that journey of being a woman, being a businesswoman, also being a spiritual woman, being a very feeling woman. And so I prayed. I said, literally, God, there's something here that the world needs. I can feel the energy of these conversations I'm having. But what actually is this? And
Hmm.
at first there was a different acronym that wasn't actually an acronym, it was just letters, right? And then
Yep.
a acquaintance of mine who works in marketing said, just very directly, this is great, but also terrible. Like, you need to have this be very clean. And I was so frustrated because by then I'd spent years, thinking and developing this. And I was like, no, I wanted to give up, right? So I literally I cried, talking about crying. I cried and I prayed. And then I felt this download, boom, boom, boom,
Yes.
boom, everything locked in. And I was like, God, what's happening? What is this? What is this? Okay, what is this framework? And in my mind, I got told and shown, Debbie, relax, honey. It's maybe, I don't know if God calls me honey, but it's my own mind. Relax, honey. It's the selves. And I'm thinking, but that's too close. Like, that's too simple. But as we know, the simple things are always the things that actually make the most sense. So
Yeah.
SELVES, the spiritual self, the emotional self, the legacy self, the valued self, the ecological self, and the sexual creative self.
Beautiful. And I love that you surrendered to receive that message.
Yeah,
And I just want to let the audience know that when you're in fear and worry and doubt, you won't receive anything. It's when you are open and curious, which I call thinking above the line, is my
that's
framework.
beautiful.
And
Yes,
about being curious, having this state of wonder with an open mind and an open heart, and
yes.
curiosity beyond, and asking the question. You ask the question. I love, love, love it, because I receive phrases. I receive lots of information myself too that I use within marketing, within my groups, within my speaking, and just trusting that we are being supported, guided, and that was a divine download to you,
Absolutely. It
and
was.
it's beautiful,
Thank you.
and it's changing women's lives. And we're here to be a servant, honestly, and we're here to serve from our highest selves, and
Yeah.
that is available to every single person listening to this podcast right now. And it's a matter of just making that space for grace, just pausing, just stepping back from the noise, the social media. It's being in nature. It's listening, listening, listening to receive that you'll be directed.
Absolutely. I'd love to add, because for so long I would also hear those terms around being a servant, and I would take that quite literally. And I want to speak to that for a moment, just for anyone who's listening. The place I now operate from is I'm a servant and I'm also a queen. I can give and I can receive. I can prostrate and be humble, and I can also relish in the beauty of fine art and clothing that I feel is beautiful on my body, and also love nature, but also love my hair. But I can be all of those things, and I let go of so many parts of me in honor of certain communities and ways of being, which was actually swapping one program for another program. And what I also choose to do now, I don't always get it perfectly right, but that's because I'm human and that's part of the fun, isn't it? But
Yes.
now I choose to adopt and create my own internal programs. And when I say programs, I'm referring to, of course, beliefs and thoughts that then drive our decisions. And I love that because that's authentically me.
Yeah.
And that also invites other women and men, of course, to be authentically themselves and create their own programs based on what their soul and heart desire actually is.
Yeah. And a huge part of my life, I've been in business for 40 years now. That's a long time. A huge part of my life, I thought I had to chase success. I thought freedom was to be earned.
Hmm.
So a lot of my programs was that. And when I realized that it is the opposite of that. And now my life flows in this beautiful, I know yours does too, in
Yeah.
this beautiful results of being aligned with what matters most, rather than forcing, pushing, making things happen. And I think that is the freedom that people are yearning for too.
Mhm.
What do you think?
I think so because I think that that is a life by design. And I think that those words have been thrown around in marketing, and there's different depths of that. So you can have a life by design, which is still coming from the programming of your society, your culture, your family of origin. And you can also have a life by design that is deeply connected to spirit or soul or heart. And also, you can have both. This is part of why I have the ecological self, because the ecological self is also connecting us to our ecology internally, our internal thoughts, our programs, and also our friends and family. I don't believe in, oh, that's toxic and I'm removing you. And this is very much a concept that's come about. I don't know when that actually came about, but it's actually toxic to say, oh, that's toxic, I cut you off. We are all one consciousness, we're all connected. Those people are in your life for a reason.
Yes.
The only time we would do that is if there is physical danger, where we, of course, absolutely have to leave for our own safety. But to me, everything else, and I'm saying this from personal experience, everything else is actually a tool for learning and growth. And so we find ways to deepen our communication, to strengthen our communication, to be able to connect with forgiveness and compassion, and to also set healthy boundaries.
Yes. Yes. Yes, yes. And can we go there, please? Can we
Yes,
go
yes, of
there,
course.
please?
Yes.
Because I run a circle called the Compassion Circle, and women come together and we talk about compassion, and our conversations truly end up being around God and boundaries. So this is an area that I think women have this incredible opportunity to learn to honor oneself
Hmm.
regards to this concept of setting clear, respectful, honoring boundaries. So, can you share with us what your position is about that?
Yeah, so boundaries, I feel it is so unique to each individual, and no one can tell you where your boundaries are and are not. And also, they change in any given moment depending on the conversation, the interaction, the person that you're dealing with. Is it personal? Is it professional? Is it both? The way I feel we can, I guess, master this piece is to truly know thyself.
Yes.
And when you know yourself, when you are so connected to yourself and to spirit, which is one and the same truly,
Yes.
you will be guided with the words, with the body language, with all of it. So in that moment, you know exactly how to walk away, feeling as if you have mastered the boundary piece and not regretting that you should have said something or shouldn't have said something. It's no, in that moment, that's what that was, and it was perfect.
Yeah. And there's this piece on boundaries that I just cherish. And my experience has been it really has given me permission to be who I am. And I think there's so many women out there. I'm inviting you, go on this journey, know who you are. There is so much freedom, so much space in that, and so much calm, beautiful confidence when we know who we are. And I think there's not a lot better.
The greatest gift that you can give yourself is knowing yourself. And that is why the framework literally is a model of self-inquiry. It's not selfish or narcissistic to go within yourself and find out what is there. It's actually a gift to humanity. When someone is awakened to their own self, they're magnetic, they're alive, there's vitality, there's connection. It's the most beautiful thing on the planet to know yourself. Please know yourself.
Yes, yes, yes. And there's so much energy and vitality there. And if you're
Yes.
tired, if you're exhausted, if you're working in a corporate job that is just killing you, exhausting you, and getting you to shrink, You can choose you. You can be you.
Absolutely.
And you can take that leap of faith in letting that go. You can release that in order to move into what lights you up. And I think,
Yes.
vitality is such an available experience for every single human being. And it takes that dedication, that discipline, honoring of oneself, and taking that responsibility. And that's what you did. That's what I've done. That's what your clients are doing. That's what my clients are doing. And, this journey of life is such a beautiful, beautiful evolution. And
Yeah.
it's fun. I love learning. Like, I knew this podcast interview was going to be good, and I was looking forward to it because I knew that we would talk about potent truth. And that is what
Yes.
we are talking about right now.
Yes.
Oh,
Yes.
I just got truth bumps again. I love getting those. I don't call them truth bumps. I call them
I
truth.
love that. I love that term. It's so
Yeah.
gorgeous.
Yeah. So, uh, is there one self in the six selves that you see most women neglect? And what begins to shift when they finally bring that into the light?
Yeah, it's the sexual self.
Oh, oh,
Yeah.
oh.
Easy one. I know, right? Because we don't, it's depending on your religion, your culture, and your social programming around it, and I had a lot of programming around that. It becomes very taboo, but actually it's the most sacred thing because it's literally your life force. We would not be here without that energy, as in we as in humans, but we as in the podcast, we as in technology. The whole thing doesn't exist if we don't have the sexual self. It's the creation of life. It is life itself.
I just have to pause here. I absolutely know that to be the truth.
Yeah.
And women out there,
Yeah.
honestly, free yourself, tap into
Please.
it's available. Even if you haven't tapped into that, if you haven't experienced that, if you haven't found those places within yourself that you have your juju going on,
Yes. Yes.
it's available. Let me tell you, i
Yeah.
i left a 34-year marriage because that
Oh,
was gone.
I get
and
it.
that and that was 4 years ago. And ladies out
Wow.
there, I guarantee you it's there. I guarantee you. And it's
Woo,
also
woo.
my superpower. It is
Yeah.
my superpower because when I feel that energy, I feel connected to my own internal female energy and power and beauty and grace. And I absolutely love it now. So I'm so grateful. I always say, thank you, God, that I
Yeah.
got to experience this again because it's available. So I just want to let you know, invite
Yeah.
yourself, give yourself permission to be open, curious, and wonder. You know, uh, can I? I'm telling you, yes. Debbie, you're saying yes.
Yeah, absolutely. And there's a few nuances here as well that I want to share without going into obviously too much about my life, but I've definitely had times where that wasn't there, and there's been certain relationships where it was, and my goodness, it's delicious and amazing. And I'm so grateful to be one of those women that's embodied and can say that she's experienced that. And then what I also know true is that I bring that goddess sexual energy. And so I get to take that with me, whether I'm single or coupled or anything else. And the
Yes.
other thing also is we can take this if people are not ready or don't want to go into the ideas around sexuality, we can take this into simply creating. So this can also be reading and painting and tuning into that part of yourself. So I noticed there were two conversations. There was the body and the pleasure conversation, and then there was the painting and the creating books. And depending on the woman and where she's at and where she's comfortable to meet us, both conversations are fabulous. I have my preference. I'm a Saggy, I'm a fire sign. So you can probably guess which one is, and I'm not particularly creative in that sense either. But obviously I am. I have 3 books, I have my podcast, I have my framework. So I am in my way. But please, yes, invitation and permission. Please go there with yourself and access that part of yourself. She's amazing.
Well, she is. And it's the creative forces happen when you're curious, when you're
Yes.
open-minded.
Yes.
See what interests you. See where you get a little bit of energy. See what is interesting or intriguing. And it can be
Yes.
anything, honestly. And
Yeah.
I'm just inviting the audience to open up that door that is
Yes.
maybe locked for you. Take your own key.
Yes.
Everything's about key for me. Take your own key of curiosity and love for self, because that can bring you so much joy, so much
Yes.
fulfillment and gratitude for that. So, oh my goodness, this is so good. Thank you. Okay. So when we honor all of who we are,
Mm.
our leadership becomes less about performance and more about presence, which is,
Yes.
in my framework, the aim high system.
Hmm.
Presence is number 5. I have 6 steps.
Beautiful.
And
Yeah.
presence is so beautiful, is
Mm.
so sacred to me. And it's connecting with what is in the moment. And this is such an opportunity for all of us to explore, to look at. And there's so much inner peace in the present moment. And it's the only place that I can do anything. Like right now, in this present moment, I am feeling the intention and energy of love that we are projecting on the
Yes.
podcast. And that is beautiful to me. So, do you want to share what presence is
Oh,
for you?
yes, so much. So I love this question so much. So when I was 16, I had a download for the word now, and it was never-ending optimistic wisdom.
Okay, hold on. Pause the bus. Never ending optimistic wisdom. Are you
Yes.
willing to share that with me and the audience? Can we take that?
Yeah, I mean, my ego is like, can you say it was me because it's good? But another
Well,
part is like, it's
absolutely,
okay
exactly.
because I know it wasn't a book. I know it was through channeling and through meditation that it came about. And
Beautiful.
at 16, I had no idea what that meant, truly. And it wasn't until later in my life that I realized actually what you were just saying. It's right now, right here, right now. There is presence. There is this moment that we are connecting. There is nourishment here. There is nurturing here. There is beauty. There is reverence. That is this moment.
Mhm.
And the beautiful thing, what I've also learned is being able to hold space for those different colors of the moments, right? So we have the joy and the happiness and the deep connection when we have someone like you and I, where there's that kindred spirit connection. And then you have people who cut you off in the traffic that you just want to do, you know, all those other things to and with, right? But that's also a moment to be present.
Yes, it is.
Why? Because a fully awakened and enlightened being doesn't actually get triggered by that moment. In fact, they're able to stay neutral or actually even send love and light to their spiritual sibling by saying, brother or sister, you are so angry right now that you had the feeling and the action to cut me off and then beep at me. What must be happening in your day? I'm going to send you some love and light right now. And
Absolutely.
so I personally, I don't always get this right. Sometimes I end up reacting myself again. I'm human. So if ever you hear me or see me and I get this wrong, just remind me myself. But we get the opportunity to enjoy those beautiful, positive moments and also be present to the ones that are less comfortable and add more love and light to those moments.
Oh, it's so true. And it's intention. And whatever I give, I receive that tenfold harvest.
Yes,
And
yes,
and whatever I give is the only thing I get to receive.
yes,
So I take that to heart. So being self-aware, I think this is this journey we're on in our
mm,
lives, and
yeah,
being self-aware that, what if I could impact that gentleman in that car and
yeah,
support him to shift his mindset with his child, in the car seat in the back of that car. And then that child will receive more love and understanding, and his father will be more patient with that child. I mean, to hold that space and intention is important for every one of us. And to turn, this position of criticism or judgment into forgiveness. And
Yes,
because we don't know what's happening in someone else's world. We
we
really
really
don't.
don't.
And there could be, extraordinary emotional pain, physical pain that we have absolutely no idea about. So to just pause and stop and become conscious and aware, and make that decision intentionally to send that, exactly what you said. I love it. It's absolutely beautiful. So in your experience,
Hmm.
which is extensive, what mindsets or patterns most often keep brilliant, high achieving women stuck in overdrive or self abandonment? I love this question.
Yeah, this is a beautiful one. I'm going to go really deep here because I know I can with you and with your audience. And I was taught something really beautiful by one of my mentors, Carl Buchheit, who's actually based, well, he was, I believe he still is, in San Francisco. And he would talk about suffering the obligations of love. And
Mm.
what he meant by that, or my interpretation of what he meant by that, was that we would say yes to things that were uncomfortable or even unhealthy because our family of origin would do similar patterning, would show that to us. And so it became our normal, it became our identity. And one of my favorite quotes, and I don't know who said this, but was, in a family of thieves, the one who doesn't steal feels guilty. So my family went through the war. So I could identify, and I've done a lot of work not to, but I could identify as a third generation war survivor. And so I could attain and then lose, attain and then lose. I could do that. And I've worked very hard on not doing that. Why? Because I want to be a generational breaker. And I want to show my son Jonah that you can actually receive and receive and receive and then give good, and receive and receive and receive and then give good. And my son is also on the spectrum. So he views the world and perceives the world and processes the information in the world in a very different way. So he's got a special little mission or big mission for himself to do as well. And he's part of the reason why I want to understand my own patterning and help others to understand theirs. So to bring it to something very practical, suffering the obligations of love, you can still love your mother and father and grandparents and whoever it was that raised you if you happen to be adopted or in a different type of family setup. You can love them. Take all of the love. And I do a whole process around this with my clients. Take the love and also let go and surrender everything else that is not in your highest good. This is the most powerful thing. This is the greatest gift that I have actually given my mother in this lifetime, is actually dissolving the patterning of her not being able to receive. And she died from gallbladder cancer at the age of 61. I'm going to be 45 in a few weeks. My gallbladder is also removed. She wasn't able to receive because she was taking on the bitterness of life from the war, from her mother. I will not do that. I'm on no medication. I've moved mountains to be healthy. I'm a healthy, almost 45-year-old woman. And given what I've been through, that is magnificent. And that is my invitation to all of your listeners.
Good, good, very good, great, wonderful, excellent, love it. So it is an invitation for every one of us. And we have a decision to make every moment. And our life is for us, not against us. And that as a woman, we carry the love. And, that's a beautiful torch to carry. And there's things in our lives that can take away from that. So I think our own self-inquiry, self-evolution and discoveries is to what I use, my terms are just cleaning up.
Yeah.
It's looking at the things that are in the way of what love is, what love does, and what love represents, because that's been my journey in my life too. Is so what is love? What love doesn't do that.
Yeah.
So wait a second here. Well, I have to make, well, I could make a new decision here, couldn't I?
Mm.
And my mom too could not receive. So beautiful trans, she died at 93, 4 years ago. And the beautiful witness of my mother, she suffered from schizophrenia and bipolar. So she suffered a very excruciating emotional heartache life. And I got to witness her receive in the last few years of her life. And I just poured so much love on her. And she actually received it. She said,
Mm.
thank you to me a few times, which was completely out of character. And I feel that I was such a great position of that because I'd done my own internal work and journey of loving myself. And I think I opened the door for her to receive that too. So, the other thing I just want to deposit right now is that whatever work we do within ourselves to go on this journey of evolution and love, is it impacts every single other person in our life. And you're talking about your son there. It's beautiful. So it's not just about me. It's about the people that I love, and they witness this transformation and inspires them to go down a path.
Absolutely.
It's friends, it's strategic alliances, it's, I mean, we have a global marketplace now. You're way over there in Australia, I'm here in Victoria, British Columbia, Canada, and
Wow.
here we are connecting. I mean, that's a beautiful thing, making a
Wow.
difference in the way that we do.
Yes. Wow. Amazing.
So
Wow.
what does it look like in real life when a woman starts leading from her whole integrated self?
Ooh. To me, it is the most beautiful thing you've ever seen because there's everything. There's power, there's femininity, there's deep connection, there's respect. It's delicious to see a woman that's fully embodied and also who knows that she's never made it because there's no it, right? It's a constant evolution. And I have some new branding coming out next year, and the imagery of the logo is somewhat of a infinity sign
Yes.
because we're constantly, flowing and evolving. And then she has this magnetic power, which is a part of what you were saying before, where she gets to unconsciously and also consciously invite others into that healing space. And sometimes it looks like confrontation, or sometimes it looks like confusion or overwhelm, because as a woman is very empowered, if she is meeting and around others who are yet to meet themselves, they're touching on their own emotional edges.
Yes.
So a woman who's very empowered has to also be able to recognize that it won't always be pretty and loving and hugs and kisses and sitting circle. Sometimes it's actually, honey, I love you and don't treat me that way. Or
Yes.
sometimes it's I'm crying and something is being moved through me and released. And then it's how do we take all of that in our feminine circles and empower the guys who
That's
have a
so
whole different set
important.
of programming, right? So divine feminine doesn't exclude my son because I'm not here to do my mission and make it just about women, even though I do work with women. But I want my stories and my podcasts and my talks to also touch the men who are also really struggling right now
Oh
because
my
women are so
goodness.
empowered, right? I see the 20 somethings, they're so
Oh,
empowered, and the guys are like, where do I fit in here?
yeah.
Right? This is a whole nother podcast potentially with the
Well, I,
transgender
I, I want to
and
go there in
everything else.
another podcast. This is one of my
We
passion
can.
positions, is
Yeah.
women supporting and loving and guiding men who feel so lost. I mean,
Yeah.
my situation, I did everything in my power for 34 years, and
Yes.
I released that. And
Yes.
it's also a beautiful blessing. It was done with respect and compassion and love, the whole journey. And I'm so grateful for that. And I just see so many men suffering because they don't understand women either. And
And it's not their fault, can I say,
it
because
isn't, it isn't.
we've grown up in a very misogynistic society that was led by men. And they did. I want to come from a heart-centered space and say they did the best they could. And
Yeah,
there's also a lot of, and sometimes they didn't. It was actually drenched in power and some of those negative lower states of being. But that is how most women, whether it's Australia, Canada, America, Europe, wherever you are,
everywhere.
we've been raised with that. The story is very familiar. And then now there's a planetary shift. And this comes through and is echoed through numerology and astrology as well. And
Yeah.
those of us that have been born into this life with a specific mission, we know we're here to lead from that space of power and feminine essence. And again, that includes every being. And so we're in a bit of a state of identity crisis on the planet. Where do I fit in? What does this mean for me? And this is where it's so important that we carry space again for every being, but still have the boundaries with those. And I've had to have very clear boundaries with men. When I say spirituality and sexuality, it doesn't mean anything other than we're having a conversation about God and about respect for bodies.
Yes.
And that's because men, I think, lack the emotional intelligence in some ways because they've not been given the tools to
Mm,
understand the depth of how women operate. Because we are magnificent. Why? Because we carry life. We are born with that gift of understanding emotion and flowing with energy. Men have to learn that.
mhm. And to just truly honor, respect, and realize that that power can add to their lives. And I,
Hmm.
I mean, I have so much compassion for men right now because I see men suffering in
Yeah.
relationships
Yeah.
and stuck, and it's an injustice. And I just know that in 2026, I would love to be a part of something that supports men to realize the beauty, the magnificence of a woman who knows who she is, who is within her own power within herself. And there's so much love there. And that
Yeah.
can feel that love and feel safe enough to come together and learn and grow together because that's what's going to change this world.
Yes.
And
It is.
it is. And I think there's answers and I think there's opportunity there. And so that was good too. So thank you. You know, I just feel like this entire conversation is filled with so much truth, so much integrity, so much grace. And I just want to flip over to uh, an incredible win you had, and that you were recognized as a finalist in the Australian Women's Small Business Champion Awards for the way you empower women in leadership and consciousness business. And from your perspective, um, what was that like for you to receive that?
Ah, I'm getting teary. So that was one of the most monumental highlights of my career because there's a process to apply, and I felt strongly one night. This is a few months ago, but it feels like 20 years ago because this year has just been wild in a very positive way with our Boston trip, etc. And I said to my husband, my partner, but I say husband as well. I said to him, I have to do this, and it was quite late at night, and he said, do your thing, do what you have to do. And then so I applied and I let it go, and then I received this email, and I actually couldn't receive it. I actually couldn't read the words. I actually had to send it to my husband to say, what does it say, honey? What does it actually say? And he said, well, you got in, like you're a finalist and
Wow.
you're in for this category, which is a highly competitive category. And I cried as I do. And I realized firstly, how much work I've done on myself and how far I've come. And also how the world is now ready to meet me. Because again, my framework has sex and spirituality in it. And this is a very mainstream, very reputable organization that has close to 4,000 entries. And in the
Wow.
room, we only had, I think, maybe two or 300 people. So I actually didn't win in my category. Someone who won was an exceptional business mentor who I think generates something like $1.7 billion per year. And figures are important, yes, and also so is, grace and humility and other elements as well. And from our interaction, she seemed to carry all of those things. So I feel
Beautiful.
immensely honored to actually be in that category with her. And I won by being in that room. So thank you for honoring that and
Oh,
mentioning it, actually.
well, it's a win anyway. And I love that you
Yeah.
listen to your internal voice of wisdom,
Yeah.
which I think is God, and that you needed to apply.
Yeah.
That's beautiful. I won an
Thank you.
international marketing award from doing exactly the same thing
Yes.
many years ago. And I told everybody I was going to win. And
Oh, wow.
I taught business planning in a financial institute or in a educational institution in Vancouver. And I said, you see this, I'm going to win this. I'm going to, fly down. It was in Boston actually too. And
Wow.
they said, no, Carolyn, this is international. You're not. And I said, well, I'm going to win. So I had this little picture in my van with my two kids in the back, said, I'm winning that. I'm winning that. Well, I won it. I won the whole thing.
Wow.
And I got to fly to Boston, stay in this gorgeous hotel too. I got accolades. I got in the media. The president of the whole university acknowledged me. I got front page of the newspaper in Vancouver, and
Wow.
I was called to do that. And I just in my
Congratulations.
soul, and I had fun with it. So when I won, I
Yeah.
walked around and I said, "You're never going to believe it." They said, "You didn't win, did you?" I said, "Yes, I did."
Oh,
They're like, so I just think
I
holding an
love this.
intention, holding an intention and being fully in, being
Yeah.
all in is another part of, really receiving and
Yeah.
acknowledging yourself. I'm so happy that you were a finalist. That's
Thank
just,
you.
well, it's acknowledgement too, right? I mean,
Yes, it is.
um, so if you could sit with your younger self,
Hmm.
Debbie, who
Yeah.
was still in the thick of loss and uncertainty, what would you want her to know?
That she's amazing. How strong she is, how resilient she is, how beautiful her heart is, and to love herself sooner. And I would just give her the biggest hug and I would plait her beautiful hair, which everyone always wants to do and did when I was a kid. And I would just hug her and love her so dearly. And you know what? I actually do this pretty much every single day where I can feel there's like a tantrum coming on, or I'm angry with something, or I'm really sad about something. And I can identify what age I have regressed to in that moment. And I actually bring those parts of me in and I imagine myself hugging that little girl. And I actually kiss my hand and I pat my own back.
Great.
And I literally physically do those things. And I actually guide my clients to as well.
Yes.
Because if I can't do that to myself, well, who else is going to? People, unfortunately, my life has taught me everything is transient. People come and go, even those that we love the most. This
Yes.
is temporary, this life.
Yes. And we have such a glorious opportunity to live it with a full heart, with
Yes.
curiosity, wonder, and it's an
Yes.
adventure. It is
Yes.
so exciting. And to just truly make that decision, that this is the theme of this podcast. So
Mhm.
every person, not just women, men who are listening to,
Yeah.
make that decision and take on that level of commitment to just
Yes.
live your best life, the one that you dream of, the one that's percolating inside your soul. Give yourself that permission and grace and authority that you can absolutely live that life because it's there calling you forward. And
I
you know
have to share
what
something
to do.
now. Oh, sorry.
Okay, good. Do.
It's come up a few times. So your key, the first business I set up for coaching was actually called Unlock Your Best Life.
Ooh,
And I let go of it. I think because the marriage was ending and it was a whole new chapter, and I just felt that it was time to move on. But every time I see your key, because that was the logo, I'm reminded of that. And actually, what I've realized is I have unlocked mine.
you have.
Yeah.
And Emma gave me this
Yeah.
key when I was 18 years old. She was the minister of our church. And
Wow.
she's the one that taught me thinking above the
Yeah.
line. And
And I did hear your talk in Boston,
yeah. Oh, you
and
did.
that's
Well, that's
I
right
I
too.
did I did, and that was it was part of that was
That's
part
right.
of your talk, and
Emma.
I was in awe about it. It was such a beautiful sharing.
Oh, thank you. And one person can make a difference in your life and change the entire trajectory of your life. And I know that I was called to meet Emma, and Emma knew in her soul that she was a part of my life and my guidance and my direction too. And I just want to invite the audience. If there's someone you're thinking of right now, reach out to them and ask for support. Like, I think we need to elevate this asking of receiving support too, because
Yes.
it's investing in yourself so you
Yes.
can live that incredible life that is really percolating inside your heart, your mind, and your soul. It's waiting
Beautiful.
for you. It's calling you. Listen, take action, and ask for support. There's so many incredible guides like yourself, Debbie, and many other ones. Maybe it's a neighbor, maybe it's your cousin, maybe it's
And you as well.
oh
Yeah,
yes, absolutely. I
yeah,
mean,
yeah,
I'm here to support people to
yeah.
think, live, and lead above the line. So um honestly, Debbie, there is such grace here and incredible, inspiring information that we've talked about. So let's talk about people's next steps. And I thank you for bringing your heart, your science, your story, and your six selves wisdom into the space of the Love Inspired Leadership podcast. So share with the audience how they can connect with you and what can their next step be for that.
Yeah. So a couple of ways. First one would be find me on Instagram. So Instagram is Deb_Zita. I am also on LinkedIn under Debbie Zita. I'm also very happy for those that feel called to connect. I run a Monday meditation and prioritization session and have done so for over 5 years, every single week, with the exception of when I was in Boston and someone was running it for me, or when I had COVID as well. But otherwise, every single week that's been running. And that was actually a give back to the community. And then it has now become one of my signature offerings as well. So it's 30 minutes. It's Monday morning at Melbourne, Australia time, and we run through every month is a different self. We have 15 minutes of heart coherence meditation, and then 15 minutes of setting people up for their day, their week, and their month through intention setting aligned with their heart energy. So it's very powerful. So more than happy to gift one of those to those who are listening. Just reach out to me, and we'll sort something out.
Beautiful, beautiful.
Yeah.
And take the action. So I want to
Yes.
invite the audience. It's about intentional action. If
Yes.
something in this podcast sparked something in you, something triggered a truth that is resonating within you, take action. And what I'm going to provide the audience, as I do with each podcast, is my gift to you is my 21-day above the line living. It is your sacred journey, and it has a 3-minute recording, some reflections, and journal prompts that takes you on this path of thinking, living, and leading above the line. So, Debbie, I know I'm going to have you come back. I'm just saying. So, um, also, I'd like to leave the audience with a question until
Yes.
next time. So, um, this is the question for the audience. Where is one self within you asking to be seen, loved, and included so that you can lead with more grace, more impact, and joy? Debbie, thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.